For the camera, could you tell us your name and what you do?
My name is Rita Issa and I'm a GP in East London.
Why did you feel it necessary to come out today?
It's been really difficult the last couple of years working in the NHS, I'm sure as everybody is aware of, and so much of the care that we've delivered around COVID has been above and beyond what is required of our jobs. But we're really feeling the after effects of it now. Multiple nurses, doctors and other healthcare workers just aren't able to cope anymore, and that is also impacting our patients. So this week in general practice I was seeing patients who are waiting 7 days to see a GP when we should be the first point of call for people when they're in pain, when they're ill, when they're unwell. And that brings me a huge amount of shame actually in terms of my work and how I deliver good work as a doctor who really cares about people. This has all come off the back of years and years of chronic underfunding of the NHS and chronic understaffing. So we're short 50,000 nurses, we're short 12,000 hospital doctors, and the NHS just isn't well funded at all, no matter what the Conservative government want people to believe. So we are currently, we spend under £3,000 per person in the UK on healthcare. That is the second lowest of G7 countries, and the government is saying that they're going to divert even more funds away from the NHS. And what this is doing is really paving the path to privatisation within the NHS, which has been on the cards for the last decade, but we're finally seeing it now.
When you hear on Friday the Chancellor releasing his mini budget and we're now being told that they're going to have to cut public services in order to pay for tax cuts for the rich, how does that make you feel?
I mean, it's absolutely abhorrent. The value of this country comes from the labour of its workers, and we are the ones who pay taxes to support people to be able to access a good and dignified level of living, which basically just means being able to have food on the table, being able to heat your home and not being in pain. I don't think people are asking for very much. And what we're actually doing instead is subsidising banks, subsidising shareholders, subsidising the fossil fuel industry while this world is essentially burning. And what's really, really amazing about being here today is just seeing the solidarity across all these different workers from across the board. I think for too long, politicians and the media have tried to divide workers and have us think that we're better off just doing things individually. And I would say no profession feels that more than doctors usually. But actually what we're seeing today is that one struggle is everyone's struggle, and it's so crucially important for all workers to come together, stand shoulder to shoulder and just support each other in this fight.
I'm going to ask you a silly question. Do you think the NHS can take any more cuts?
I mean, the NHS is on its knees now. It's felt for years that the NHS has been at a tipping point, and I've just been waiting for the moment where it becomes untenable in the form that it is, and it finally feels that we're at that point now. So no, the NHS cannot take any more cuts, absolutely not.
Do you worry about coming out here and giving your full name and standing up for the NHS? Does it worry you at all?
Why would it worry me?
I mean, some people wouldn't like to put themselves on the front line. They wouldn't like to put themselves out there on a picket. I mean, it's great that you're doing it, but I mean, a lot of nurses and doctors are too afraid to. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I firstly recognise my position and privilege as a doctor as actually being quite a respected member of society, and so I come here in the knowledge that I hold this position, and part of my work is to advocate and look after people's health. And if we know that people aren't able to heat their homes and that is going to result in a huge number of excess deaths, then I see it as part of my role as a doctor really to come out here and speak.